Welcome back, my fellow coaster enthusiasts. This is Zero G Films, and today we're doing a review on Kings Island's Mystic Timbers. After getting 5 rides on it over the weekend, I just had to do a review on this. So it was the best new ride of 2017, so we're going to take you all the way back to 2016. So Kings Island began to drop hints for future attraction coming to the park for the 2017 season. There was many speculations what it would be. Would it be a new log ride? Would it be a new flat ride? Would it be new renovations? But then Kings Island labeled the project Kings Island Project 2017, and the park was planning to build a new roller coaster. In the months leading up to this, the news outlets in the local area of Cincinnati, they received an axe regarding activity in Rivertown. Later, a blue pickup truck appeared with logs in the back of it with a note saying there would be an official announcement on July 28th, 2016. On that evening of the 28th of 2016 in July, the park announced their 16th roller coaster, and it would be called Mystic Timbers. This would make Kings Island the record holder again for the longest collection roller coaster track, just under 19,000 feet, including the Beast, Woodstock Express, and both racer tracks. There was much hype building up to this announcement because after the simulated POV for the video that the park announced, there was a video that stopped right at the shed, right after you got through the layout, and no one knew what was happening in the shed, and then Kings Island labeled this, What's in the Shed. The coaster will be manufactured and built by GCI, or Great Coasters International, featuring stats of 109 feet tall, 3,200 feet of track, and reaching a top speed of 53 miles per hour, which feels like a lot faster, especially when you're going through it at night in this layout. You'll understand if you ever rode the ride already. Throughout the layout, you'll go through 16 airtime hills as you twist and turn throughout the woods, and then you'll fly over the train tracks, you'll fly over the Whitewater Canyon ride, but you have a lot of twists and turns, and then we'll get into the layout in just a few minutes. Theming is one of the most important aspects and one of my favorite parts of rides when it comes to that, because Cedar Fair doesn't do a lot with theming, but when they do it pretty well. And Mystic Timbers does that with the fictional logging company Miami River Lumber. And it features theming throughout the queue line, a broken down truck when you enter the queue, and it's just one of my favorite feels of a queue line that I've ever been in. Especially at night, if you've been on this ride, you get a lot of theming at night, especially with it gives creepy Halloween vibes. I don't know how to explain it, but the music that they play in it, just the atmosphere of the whole ride, the whole queue line, it's just something that you have to experience in person, and I absolutely just adore this ride, adore the theming. If you kind of look at the theming that has gone with the Cedar Fair chain over the last few years, it's kind of started with Mystic Timbers. So you go Twisted Timbers, you have the theming with the trees there. You have Mystic Timbers here, you have Tomboli, you have Steel Vengeance, you have Hang Time. There's so much theming that has started since that year in 2016/2017 that I think it really kind of kicked it off. Once you hop on your train, you'll leave the station, take a dip over the railroad, and then begin your climb on the lift hill. A very slow lift hill indeed. And then you'll hear some recorded voices saying, hey, I see you there. What on earth you think you're doing? This is security. Seriously, guys, you need to take that truck, go home to your video games. This place is not safe. Your train will pick up some speed as you get over to the top of the hill, and then you'll slow down, you'll hear a screeching noise, and then you'll hear again, whatever you do, don't go in the shed. And then you turn left, you dive down the first hill, and then the camera actually is at the bottom of the hill, so if you're riding, the camera's right there, so be ready. Then you go over the second hill, crossing over the lift hill, and then you dive into the woods through the many twists and turns and airtime hills. Now, though these airtime hills are very short, very low to the ground, you'll get a little bit of ejector airtime, but it's not going to be sustained at all. And then once you get to the back of the layout, you'll go through the tunnel. You experience a lot of laterals in this tunnel, which I love that. And then you make your way back through the layout again, going over the small airtime hills, and then finally making your way into the brake run, hearing, don't go in the shed. This is a restricted area, and it goes, we're restricted, go in the shed. So it kind of glitches, skips, and then it says, go in the shed. Before I get to the next part of this, I just want to explain what the shed is, but I just want to give a shout out to the podcast that I run. It's called the Park Hoppers Radio. I'll link it down in the description below. If you guys want to listen to this, we do park reports, we do fun episodes. We just did an episode about if an NBA player or a roller coaster and who they be. And it was just a fun episode, so me and my buddy run that podcast together. So if you guys want to check that out and support the channel and support the podcast, that would be absolutely amazing. Listen to it on your way to work, at work, I don't know, whatever you want. Just put it on the background on Spotify and enjoy that. Talk a lot about, the state of the amusement park industry and just everything going on with it right now. So it's a fun time. Go and check that out, please. As you enter the glorified brake run with some flickering lights overhead, the shed is themed with a really cool Coke machine, which I would love to have in my house because I am a huge Coke fan, and broken boards, vines, faint writing on the wall with paint, and then your train comes to a stop, and a cassette player starts playing music, probably from the 80s. There's a few songs that go, I think there's 2 or 3 different songs that actually play in this, and it feels like it lasts forever. But a lot of noise comes through the shed once your train starts moving and a projection comes on the screen in front of you. There's 3 different endings that could happen, and I've experienced all 3, and I'll give you my favorite right now. The first of the 3 endings is the bats. So a large group of bats come at your train, and then a giant one swarms in the middle of the screen. It's pretty cool. I love the snake one. A huge snake appears on the screen, takes bites at the riders, and then kind of just like lunges at you. Pretty cool. Reminds me, obviously, of Diamondback. And then my favorite, I call it Groot. My buddy calls it Groot too. Is when you kind of can see the tree wrapping his branches around everything that's going on, and then he comes to life and then gives an illusion that he's grabbing the train as you pass by. And it's very loud. I love the theming in there. I know it's just a glorified brake run. There was many speculations leading up in the days to would it be, like for Bolton, would it have a drop track? Would it have a reverse launch? But it was just kind of a glorified brake run with a lot of theming to get you to the next section to ride, obviously where you unload. That was my first review of any coaster I've done. I just want to do it on here right now. Mystic Timbers is currently sitting at number 9 on my list out of 83. I don't have a lot of credits compared to some people, but I have more than most. But yeah, so 83 credits, number 9 right now. I personally think this is the best GCI coaster. Technically, I haven't been on any other ones, but I really want to get on Wickerman at Alton Towers, and then obviously Gold Striker at California's Great America. Overall, my final thoughts on the coaster, it's a number 9, like I said, out of 83 for me. I want to hear your guys' thoughts. If it's a, top 10, top 20, top 30 coaster for you, is it the best GCI you've been on? If you've been on other GCIs, well, I've technically been on other GCIs. I've been on Wildcat at Hershey Park, but obviously that doesn't compare at all to Mystic Timbers. But this thing just doesn't let up. This ride is one of my favorites for a reason. It stays low to the ground, twists and turns, being thrown out of your seat side to side, and it just doesn't let up. It doesn't feel like 53 miles per hour. I took my buddy on it for the first time, which he's my co-host on the podcast, and he's becoming a coaster enthusiast with me. Because I'm, the seasoned vet, he's kind of newer to the coaster, community, and he's like, this thing does not slow down at all. But overall, like I said, I love this ride. Number 9 for a reason. I hope it stays in my top, 10, 15, top 20 this year, because I'll be going to a lot of other parks this year that I haven't experienced, such as Holiday World, Six Flags, Great America, Great Adventure. I'm going to a lot of new parks this year that I haven't been to because I haven't been as involved in the community as I've been the last 3 years due to COVID with working just so many hours. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts. Like I said, if you guys want to support the channel, give me a like and a follow. And also, if you guys could support the podcast, which would be absolutely amazing. We're trying to get to 100 listeners by the end of July, which would be just a dream come true because we just started a month ago and we're already almost at 30. So it would be a big help. But thank you guys again for watching. If you have a coaster suggestion that you want me to do a review on, please leave in the comments down below and I'll try to get to it. But most importantly, have a great day and ride on.